Chapter 90. Rains took a step forward and said somewhat discontentedly, "All right. Dachman, quickly go handle the formalities. Right, help Rex choose a good fief." Dachman said with a slight smile, "Yes, Your Highness. After 3 days, wait for His Majesty's confirmation, then all the formalities can be handled. As for the fief, I'll do my best to choose a good one for Rex." "Hey, handsome, my name is Lisa. Can you invite me for a drink? I know a bar. The alcohol inside is pretty good." Yang Feng and Rains had just finished handling the formalities, when a great beauty with long blue hair, a sexy and well-developed figure, a height of 1.78 meters, and a mature style from head to toe, immediately walked towards Yang Feng with a touch of a fragrant wind and a smile. "Lisa, get out of my way. This handsome guy is a man that I fancy. If you don't want to be beaten up by me, then get lost." A beautiful woman with short blue hair and wearing tight black clothes walked over and gave off a domineering aura. She had a tall and sexy figure, and she had regular facial features. When Lisa saw that gorgeous woman dressed in black tights, the radiance in her eyes changed several times. She finally clenched her teeth and retreated to one side, while casting pitiful glances at Yang Feng. Once that sexy and gorgeous woman appeared domineeringly, the few level 1 warlock beauties could only stop and cast flirtatious glances at Yang Feng. Lisa is a level 1 warlock from Black Dragon Lizard Blood Meridian family. Black dragon lizards are only a subspecies born from the mating of black dragons and black dragon lizards. Adult black dragon lizards are only level 3 warlocks. Black dragon lizard clans people will never be able to promote to great warlocks, nor will they ever be able to surpass the experts of our black dragon's blood meridians, therefore they're vassals of our black dragon's blood meridian warlocks. That's Randall. She's also a level 1 warlock with black dragon's blood meridians, one of the strongest women of the younger generation. When Rains spoke of Lisa, he was somewhat unconcerned, but when he spoke of Randall, there was a trace of graveness. Randall arrived before Yang Feng, carefully sizing him up, just like a pervert carefully observing whether a woman was a beauty or not. Before Yang Feng transmigrated, he was just an ordinary earthling waste. But after being implanted with the ancient black dragon Vedarnia's blood meridians and promoted to a level 1 warlock, his temperament and appearance underwent earth-shaking changes. Even before his transformation, he was already a rather handsome man. After he used the nano-transformation robot to transform into Lake, he was also a handsome Western man with an extraordinary temperament. After Randall carefully sized up Yang Feng, the corners of her mouth rose slightly and she invited enthusiastically, "Hey, handsome, I'm called Randall, I've taken a fancy to you. Come on, let's go for a drink, my treat." Warlocks with black dragon's blood meridians were basically all handsome men and beautiful women. If a beauty like Randall was placed on Earth, she would definitely be a campus belle. Such a sexy beauty taking the initiative to strike up a conversation with Yang Feng gave birth to a very novel feeling in his heart. He readily agreed to her request. "All right. My name is Drake." Rains coughed lightly and said, "Sigh, Randall, tonight there will be a celebration party to celebrate the addition of our Black Dragon Blood Meridian Warlock. We still have to make some preparations, so you can chat again tonight." Randall cursed in a low voice, then said with a charming smile towards Yang Feng, "Such a hateful convention. Handsome, see you tonight." Rains pulled Yang Feng and quickly left the palace. After leaving the palace, Rains said, "Randall, that woman is pretty good looking, but her private life is somewhat rotten. She keeps more than 20 noodles. If you don't mind, she's actually a pretty good playmate." Yang Feng shrugged his shoulders and said, "Listening to you, I basically have no interest in her." With Yang Feng's current status, what woman couldn't he get? Solely in terms of temperament and beauty, Eunice and Shui flung Randall by God knows how many streets. Even Judy only slightly lacked the charm of a mature woman compared to Randall. Rains said with a lascivious smile, "However, you don't have to be disappointed. With the density of your blood meridians, tonight there will be countless beauties courting you, desiring to obtain your life seeds." Yang Feng looked somewhat oddly at Rains and said, "Haven't you experienced such a thing?" Rains said extremely proudly, Of course, although the density of my blood meridians isn't as good as yours, but it's still an intermediate grade blood meridians. Those black dragon lizards, black dragon serpents and wyvern falcons, those women from vassal families, which one of them doesn't desire to obtain my life seeds? Once we have children, even if they don't have the noble black dragon's blood meridians, they can still increase the density of those inferior blood meridian families' blood meridians. With Rain's narration, only then did Yang Feng begin to understand the importance of the density of blood meridians for those blood meridian warlock families. 4 blood meridian warlocks with an intermediate grade concentration of black dragon's blood meridians like Rain's, promoting to a level 2 warlock was a matter of course. Only when promoting to a level 3 warlock would they encounter a bit of difficulty. If it was a blood meridian warlock with a superior concentration of black dragon's blood meridians, then promoting to a level 3 warlock would only be a matter of time. Only when promoting to a great warlock would they encounter a huge difficulty. Blood meridian warlocks with a concentration of top-notch black dragon's blood meridians wouldn't have any difficulty promoting to a level 3 warlock. Moreover, great warlocks would have more than a 30% chance. If it was a blood meridian warlock with a low concentration of black dragon's blood meridians, then they could only be guaranteed to promote to a level 1 warlock. Then they would encounter an advancement bottleneck when attacking a level 2 warlock. As for blood meridian warlocks with a concentration of low-grade black dragon blood meridians and below, it would be very difficult for them to promote to an official warlock. Their success rate was only about 30% higher than that of an ordinary warlock. The higher the concentration of the blood meridians of the blood meridian warlocks, the higher the concentration of the blood meridians of their children. A blood meridian warlock with a first-rate concentration of black dragon's blood meridians would at least give birth to a blood meridian warlock with an intermediate concentration of black dragon's blood meridians, and it was even possible to give birth to a blood meridian warlock with a superior concentration of black dragon's blood meridians. The offspring of a warlock with black dragon's blood meridian and a black dragon lizard or a black dragon snake, which were inextricably linked to black dragons, might give birth to a noble black dragon blood meridian warlock. Even if it wasn't a black dragon blood meridian warlock, but the offspring would definitely be a blood meridian warlock with a relatively high concentration of blood meridians. The power of blood meridians was the origin power of a blood meridian warlock, as well as the foundation of a blood meridian warlock's inheritance. In order to maintain the power of blood meridians, many blood meridian warlock families intermarried very frequently. Even so, the blood meridians of those blood meridian warlocks still continued to become thinner with each passing generation. In order to obtain a formidable blood meridians, those blood meridian warlock families would spare no expense. One of the very important reasons why blood meridian warlock families such as black dragon lizard, black dragon snake and wyvern harpy would attach themselves to the black dragon empire was to obtain the life seeds of black dragon blood meridian warlocks, so as to ensure that those blood meridian warlock families wouldn't be eliminated from the world of warlocks due to the thinning of their blood meridians. Chapter 91. Nighttime, inside a luxurious palace. Yang Feng, dressed in formal attire, stepped into the palace and saw countless handsome men and beautiful women standing inside the palace. Practically all of those handsome men and beautiful women were shrouded in formidable life force. Most of them were formidable level 1 warlocks, even the slightly weaker ones were level 3 apprentice warlocks or level 2 apprentice warlocks. Once Yang Feng entered the palace, the eyes of many beautiful women lit up and they walked towards him one after another. "Hello Rex. My name is Aisha, can I have a dance with you?" A beautiful girl of about 18 or 19 years of age, with long brown hair, a sexy figure, dressed in a black evening dress, exuding a seductive charm, walked up to Yang Feng, smiled sweetly, and extended her lily-white hand, a fragrance wafting from her. "Hello Rex. My name is Anna, please have a dance with me, okay?" A blonde beauty with a head full of long blonde hair, a sexy figure, dressed in a silver evening dress, a child's complexion and big breasts, arrived before Yang Feng with a sweet and pure smile on her face and extended her lily-white hand. "Hello, Rex." Inside the palace, the beautiful women practically scrambled to be the first to crowd around Yang Feng, Competing with each other's attractiveness, undercurrents surged as they fought over the right to invite Yang Feng for a dance. Yang Feng looked at the scene before him with a smile, his heart brimming with excitement, feelings of novelty. The beautiful women surrounding Yang Feng were basically from black dragon lizards, black dragon serpents, and other Blood Meridian warlock families affiliated with black dragon Blood Meridian families. Each of them had a gorgeous appearance and incomparably powerful strength. If it was on Earth, then they would be elites among elites. They absolutely wouldn't give an ordinary person like Yang Feng a glance. But now, they were scrambling to curry favor with him, thirsting to obtain his favor. This kind of feeling greatly satisfied the vanity of an ordinary person like Yang Feng. A great beauty with a head full of long scarlet hair, a height of 1.9 meters, a tall figure, curvaceous chest and butt, skin as white as jade, exuding a terrifying life force, a proud expression on her face as if an aloof queen directly stepped into the palace. As soon as the great beauty stepped into the palace, her terrifying life force attracted countless gazes. After seeing her true appearance, those gazes were filled with fear, and lust. The beautiful woman with long scarlet hair swept the beautiful women around Yang Feng with a glance, creased her eyebrows, and barked full of dignity, "You little fellows, get lost." When the beautiful women surrounding Yang Feng turned around and saw the great beauty with long scarlet hair, they bowed towards her as if avoiding snakes and scorpions, before unwillingly retreating to the side. The beautiful woman with long scarlet hair walked up to Yang Feng with a touch of fragrance, carefully sized him up for a moment, then revealed a trace of a satisfied and aloof smile. She frivolously extended her hand and hooked Yang Feng's chin. "Not bad, it's indeed a top-notch concentration of Black Dragon's blood meridians. Rex, from today onwards, you are my, Anusha's man." Yang Feng suddenly had a feeling of reversing the roles of man and woman. He instinctively extended his hand and directly hid away Anusha's lily-white hand. Although he liked beautiful women, but deep in his bones was a strong male chauvinism, he wasn't willing to become a woman's plaything, no matter how beautiful she was. "Interesting little fellow. You actually dare to resist me, so interesting." Anusha gave a sweet smile. Her body at once released an extremely terrifying life force, that terrifying pressure comparable to that of a pinnacle level 3 warlock instantly erupted and enveloped Yang Feng's body. Under that terrifying pressure of a pinnacle level 3 warlock, Yang Feng's complexion changed greatly. He frantically operated the secret method recorded within Black Dragon Morph, withstanding Anusha's terrifying pressure with extreme difficulty. He clenched his teeth and tenaciously stood. "Enough, stop, Anusha, he's still not yours." At this moment, an ice-cold voice came from the side. A peerless beauty with a head full of long blue hair, eyes as clear as sapphires, a fiery and sensual figure, yet her entire body was shrouded in the temperament of an iceberg beauty. She walked over with large strides. An extremely formidable life force emitted from the peerless beauty's body, counteracting Anusha's terrifying pressure, giving Yang Feng a chance to catch his breath. Anusha turned around and said with a sneer, "Carol, do you want to snatch this man from me? You've always been blunt towards men, yet you've also started to have your heart stirred? Or perhaps, for the sake of Bonia family, you need a handsome and strong stallion with a high concentration of blood meridians?" Carol's beautiful eyes flashed with a whiff of anger. She said coldly, "Shut up. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind inviting you to the deathmatch arena to have a life and death duel." The deathmatch arena was a place specially prepared by Black Dragon Empire for the warlocks within the empire to have a life and death duel. Once irreconcilable enmity was sown between Black Dragon Empire's warlocks, then they would choose to have a duel in the deathmatch arena. If a duel was discovered in other places, then they would be strongly hunted down by Black Dragon Pagoda. That was because the destructive power of a duel between formidable warlocks was too terrifying. If those warlocks were allowed to duel carelessly, then no matter how many mortals there were, it wouldn't be enough for them to kill. Anusha said with a merry smile, "I hit the nail on the head. Carol, you're living too tirelessly. Live more for yourself. I'm very fond of this handsome little stallion, but I'm not willing to have a life and death duel with you." As long as you're willing to pay a sufficient price, then I'll let you have him. This world is so big, there's no lack of handsome men. I'm not short of one. However, at the very least, you have to let him help me conceive a few children. This is my bottom line. Are you going to divide this handsome little stallion just like that? How about giving me a share? I'm not asking for much, as long as he lets me conceive 8 to 10 children, that's enough. A beautiful woman dressed in a purple evening dress, with a tall figure, short golden hair, a gorgeous appearance, and exuding a heroic temperament all over, also walked over with a merry smile, exuding a terrifying life force comparable to that of a pinnacle level 3 warlock. The terrifying life force released by the 3 pinnacle level 3 warlock women surged in the venue. Everyone's complexion changed slightly and they quickly left the 3 women's sides. At the center of the terrifying life force, a wine cup suddenly came alive. It twisted and grew countless teeth, before strangely shattering. A tablecloth also suddenly twisted and grew 2 arms, before being crushed by the formidable force field. All kinds of strange phenomena continuously emerged, before being crushed by the terrifying life force of the 3 level 3 warlocks. Chapter 92. Anusha suddenly gave a slight smile and instigated, "Angelica, Carol wants to monopolize this handsome little stallion. It would be better for us to join hands to defeat her and teach her a lesson. Then, how about equally dividing the usage rights of this little stallion? Let me use him first, then when you want to have children, I'll lend him to you. In any case, you don't want to have children right now." The corners of Angelica's mouth rose slightly and she said with a smile, "Good idea. Carol, what do you think? If you want to monopolize this little stallion, then I can only join hands with Anusha. After all, a little stallion with such a high concentration of blood meridians is rarely seen in 100 years. My requirements aren't high. When I want to have children, then let me use him." Yang Feng quietly listened from the side. He was somewhat speechless. Carol, Anusha and Angelica, the 3 women, each of them were very outstanding and had a strong aura. Even in Tyrandot subcontinent where experts were as common as clouds, they were still second only to great warlocks. Their statuses were incomparably noble. Yang Feng would have been very happy with the 3 outstanding women fighting over him, but if he was only treated as a stallion, then even if they were beautiful women, he still wouldn't want to serve them. Yang Feng coughed lightly and said faintly, "Cough, you're discussing my usage rights in private. Could it be that you don't want to ask the master's wishes?" Anusha swept Yang Feng with a glance. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of ridicule. "Your wishes? Little stallion, only after you promote to a level 3 warlock, then you'll have the qualifications to talk with us on equal footing. Of course, if you can promote to a great warlock, then having me be your slave isn't a problem. Even with top-notch Black Dragon's blood meridians, promoting to a great warlock still wasn't that simple. Promoting from a level 3 warlock to a great warlock, that was an enormous transformation and evolution of a life form. The disparity between a level 3 warlock and a great warlock was as huge as the disparity between a level 3 apprentice warlock and a level 2 warlock. In the entire Black Dragon Pagoda, there were merely 7 great warlocks. The 7 great warlocks were the foundation that Black Dragon Pagoda had accumulated over thousands of years. In that long period of time, Black Dragon Pagoda had produced more than 100 geniuses with top-notch Black Dragon's blood meridians. Of the 100 geniuses with top-notch Black Dragon's blood meridians, 8 died before maturing, 90 promoted to level 3 warlocks, and only 2 promoted to great warlocks. The difficulty of promoting to a great warlock could be imagined. Anusha and the other 2 women obviously only fancied the blood meridians within Yang Feng's body. They didn't have the slightest feelings towards Yang Feng, let alone love at first sight, only thinking about benefits. "I think I still have the right to speak with you on equal terms." Yang Feng smiled faintly. With a thought, a black ray flew out of the dimensional crest he wore and landed on the ground. A 1.7 m tall mechanical dragon-scaled warrior, covered in a layer of ancient dragon scales, with sharp blades growing at all the major joints, appearing like a humanoid dragon, appeared beside Yang Feng. The mechanical dragon-scaled warrior's miniature super high-energy crystal propulsion furnace was fully launched, a very strange yet terrifying life force comparable to that of a pinnacle level 3 warlock diffused from its body, contending against Xianxia and the other 2 women, not falling into a disadvantageous position, firmly guarding Yangfeng. Xianxia and the other 2 women looked at the mechanical dragon-scaled warrior, their beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of graveness. They could all sense the terrifying fluctuations of power emitted by the mechanical dragon-scaled warrior. It could completely contend against them. Yangfeng said with a slight smile, "I found some small toys inside the relic where I obtained dragon blood essence. These small toys should be enough to make me qualified to speak with you on equal terms, right? So amazing, I really admire you. Rex, look, am I beautiful?" Xianxia gave a flirtatious smile. Her whole body at once emitted traces of magic fluctuations. So beautiful! Yangfeng's eyes suddenly went blank. He only felt that the Xianxia before him was extremely beautiful. Her whole body was perfect. She was 100 times more beautiful than the lover of his dreams. The person he loved the most in his life was the goddess before him. He was willing to dedicate everything to her. Even if he had to die for her, he also wouldn't hesitate. Seeing Yangfeng's infatuated appearance, the corners of Xianxia's mouth rose slightly. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of contempt. The host is being eroded by magic power. Immediately attack and eliminate the source of the magic power. The mechanical dragon-scaled warrior's eyes flashed with a red light. The miniature super high-energy crystal propulsion furnace frantically operated. It suddenly shot up. Its claw was like a thunderbolt as it grabbed at Xianxia's heart. Xianxia's complexion changed greatly. Her body's life force surged. Her whole body was instantly covered with a layer of black dragon scales. Simultaneously, formidable life force surged in front of her, condensing into an incomparably formidable protective cover capable of withstanding level 3 spells. The mechanical dragon-scaled warrior's claw stabbed at the protective cover. The claw that inherited part of the ancient black dragon Vedarnia's might instantly tore the protective cover apart, easily piercing through, fiercely stabbing at the location of Xianxia's heart. It was blocked for a split second by the astonishing defensive strength of the black dragon scales. In that split second, Xianxia's body instantly disintegrated into more than a dozen lumps of black mist, disappearing from where she stood. Those more than a dozen lumps of black mist quickly condensed at another location, forming Xianxia's body. At the location of her heart, there was already a huge bloody wound, almost exposing her heart. After Xianxia was repelled, traces of a cool stream of air were transmitted from the green bead on Yangfeng's neck, nourishing his soul and freeing him from Xianxia's charm spell. After Yangfeng was freed from Xianxia's charm spell, his eyes flashed with a whiff of fierceness. He flicked his fingers. A dragon-scaled warrior quickly flew out from his dimensional crest, extremely ferociously pouncing at Xianxia. Simultaneously, a level 8 shield troop appeared in front of Yangfeng, raised its shield high and opened a level 3 protective cover, directly protecting Yangfeng. Under the protection of the level 3 protective cover, even a level 3 spell wouldn't so easily affect Yangfeng. It would also be very difficult for curses and charm-type spells to pass through the level 3 protective cover and affect Yangfeng. "Stop, Rex!" Xianxia's pretty complexion changed. She issued a shriek, pointed with her finger and in a flash cast the level 3 spell Dragon Flame Fireball. A washbasin-sized Dragon Flame Fireball compressed with high-energy fire elemental particles immediately whistled towards a dragon-scaled warrior, directly bombarding it. Dragon Flame Fireball, this level 3 spell, was one of the few spells with the strongest destructive power among level 3 spells. Even if a level 3 warlock was hit by it, they would also suffer heavy injuries. Such a level 3 spell could destroy a huge building. That dragon-scaled warrior extended its claw. Its right hand erupted with a formidable life force, directly crushing the level 3 Dragon Flame Fireball. The terrifying explosion merely jolted it back by 3 or 4 steps. Carol and Angelica, the 2 women, stood on one side, casting spells and directly blocking the aftermath of the level 3 Dragon Flame Fireball's explosion. They saw the dragon-scaled warrior crush the Dragon Flame Fireball with its claw. Their beautiful eyes also flashed with a touch of graveness. Level 3 Dragon Flame Fireball. Even if they were strong, they still wouldn't dare to use their bodies to resist. They could only use level 3 spells to offset or defend. Chapter 93. Another dragon-scaled mechanical warrior directly flew over to Anusha's back, ferociously pierced through Anusha's protective force field, kicked her body, and directly blasted her to the ground, spurting out a mouthful of blood. "Fuck, you golems, you've angered me." Anusha's figure shook and she at once flew up, her eyes surged with a terrifying fury and an incomparably formidable life force was released from her body. Once the terrifying life force of a pinnacle level 3 warlock was fully released, apart from official warlocks, everyone in the reception hall felt a burst of pressure and even a feeling of suffocation. Carol creased her eyebrows and said coldly, "Enough. Anusha, if you continue to be so impudent, I'll make my move." Angelica gave a slight smile and also walked over. "Anusha, don't make a fuss. Otherwise, I can only make my move against you." Yang Feng waved his hand and the 2 dragon-scaled mechanical warriors also swept over and returned in front of him, coldly staring at Anusha. Streams of powerful level 3 warlock rank spirit force swept over and locked onto Anusha. The advancement of Blood Meridian warlocks was by far much easier than that of Orthodox warlocks. The number of level 3 warlocks in Black Dragon Empire could be said to be the highest among the 6 great forces. Anusha's complexion changed several times. She finally restrained her aura and casually flicked her hand. A radiance shrouded her body. After the radiance disappeared, she changed into an evening dress and said with a merry smile, "Rex, little brother, all right, I admit that you have the qualifications to speak with us as equals." Anusha's eyes turned and locked onto that dragon-scaled mechanical warrior. Her eyes flashed with a scorching glint. "That's right, I really like that alchemical golem of yours. How about selling one to your elder sister?" Anusha had personally experienced the might of that dragon-scaled mechanical warrior. If it was a one-on-one, she had the confidence to tear that dragon-scaled mechanical warrior to shreds, but if it was a one-on-two, then the outcome would be hard to predict. Such a formidable mechanical golem made her salivate. Carol, Angelica, as well as all the members in the reception hall, their gazes fell on that dragon-scaled mechanical warrior, their eyes brimming with envy and greed. Such a dragon-scaled mechanical warrior could serve as the foundation of a warlock family. It could be passed down for hundreds or even thousands of years. Even a level 3 warlock with such a dragon-scaled mechanical warrior could greatly enhance their battle prowess and survivability. "I'm not selling this alchemical golem." Yang Feng shook his head slightly. The dragon-scaled mech warrior was a special biomechanical combat unit created from the scales of the ancient black dragon Vedania. After manufacturing the mechanical black dragon, Yang Feng only had 5 of them. Naturally, he would not easily attack such a powerful combat unit. The radiance in Anusha's eyes dimmed slightly, then she stared at Yang Feng. A touch of a dangerous radiance flashed past the abyss of her eyes. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a peculiar glint, and he said with a smile, "However, I can bet on it. Doesn't our Black Dragon Empire have a followers' gambling arena? If you, Anusha, can take out an item of equal value, we can carry out a gambling fight between 20 followers. This alchemy puppet was worth 50 million magic stones. You can use gold, ores, 2nd and 3rd tier spell matrices, scrolls, puppets, and other items of equal value to bet with me. If you win, this puppet will be yours." "Alright." Anusha pondered for a moment, then gave a sweet smile. She flipped her lily-white hand and a delicate crystal box appeared in her lily-white hand. The crystal box automatically opened, revealing a magic core engraved with mysterious magic patterns, approximately the size of an egg. Anusha said with a sweet smile, "A magic core comparable to a great warlock rank extraordinary life form Sphinx direwolf with battle prowess, plus 15 iron or veins with reserves of at least 30,000 tons, a barondom, this should be enough, right?" The magic cores of great warlock rank extraordinary life forms were extremely valuable, but their value couldn't compare to that of a level 3 battle golem. After all, in Tyrannid subcontinent, there were still a lot of great warlock rank extraordinary life forms. Moreover, every year, there would be some magic cores of extraordinary life forms flowing over from the main continent. But that level 3 warlock rank battle golem was different. It had formidable battle prowess. It could become the heritage of a warlock family. It could also become the trump card of a level 3 warlock. Apart from some formidable warlock alchemists, there was basically no one capable of refining level 3 warlock rank battle golems. In Tyrannid subcontinent, Grandmaster alchemists with the highest level of alchemy could only refine level 2 warlock rank battle golems. Great warlocks could actually refine level 3 warlock rank avatars, but to refine those level 3 warlock rank battle golems, they would need to spend at least 70 million magic stones, or even more. Yang Feng said with a smile, "It's enough." Although the value of the items offered by Anusha couldn't compare to Yang Feng's dragon-scaled mechanical warrior, but Yang Feng was very interested in that Sphinx Direwolf's magic core. Only then did he not haggle over the price difference. A handsome young man with a head full of short golden hair, a tall and sturdy figure, an elegant bearing, and an overbearing aura exuding from between his eyebrows smiled as he walked up to Yang Feng's side. "Rex, I'm also very interested in your other alchemical golem. Let me join this wager." Reigns cast a secret method and directly transmitted his voice. "This is my second brother Johann. He has the cultivation base of a pinnacle level 2 warlock. He's also one of my greatest opponents in becoming the Emperor of Black Dragon Empire. You have to be careful." Yang Feng said with a slight smile, "As long as you can come up with enough magic stones, then there won't be any problems." Johann said with a slight smile, "I think that a marquisdom passed down from generation to generation with a population of 5 million people should be worth no less than 50 million magic stones." A marquisdom's territory was basically the size of 3 earldoms. It covered an area of approximately 1,500 square kilometers. It was equivalent to 3/10 of Steel City's area. Moreover, a marquisdom had a population of 5 million people. It was definitely an extremely wealthy marquisdom. If one was good at management, then every year the Lord would be able to obtain more than 10,000 magic stones in various supplies from the territory. The reason why Steel City could only obtain 3,000 magic stones per year was because all of the ore veins in its territory had been completely digested by Steel City. Moreover, Yang Feng didn't carry out any operations within his sphere of influence. The 3,000 magic stones were merely the taxes obtained from taxes. Of course, the reason why the income was so low was also because the population within Steel City's sphere of influence had fled in large numbers, and the surrounding forces had imposed an economic blockade on it. Within their fiefs, aristocrats were equivalent to local tyrants, dictating the fates of 5 million people within their fiefs. Moreover, all of the ore veins within the fiefs belonged to the Lord. Therefore, the value of the marquisdom that Johann took out for the wager was definitely not less than 50 million magic stones. Chapter 94. Yang Feng said with a smile, "Indeed, a marquisdom that can be passed down from generation to generation is worth no less than 50 million magic stones." Johann said towards Reigns with a smile, "Reigns, my dear younger brother, how about we also take this opportunity to make a bet?" Reigns' eyebrows creased slightly, revealing a trace of awkwardness. Anusha's family, the Benivia family, was a warlock noble family of Black Dragon Empire, with a heritage of more than 2,000 years. Although Anusha looked like a 25 or 26-year-old beautiful woman, but in fact, her age was already more than 500 years old. Although she was unable to break through and promote to a great warlock, but her strength was very few among level 3 warlocks. Her family's influence was even more formidable. The number of followers was in the thousands. There were even level 3 warlocks who were her subjects. Anusha, Carol, and Angelica. These 3 women were the most outstanding geniuses of Black Dragon Empire's younger generation. If it wasn't for Black Dragon Empire's imperial throne being controlled by Anthony, then they would definitely be the most powerful contenders for the imperial throne. In the battle between Anusha and Yang Feng's followers, no matter how one looked at it, Yang Feng had no chance of winning. Yang Feng transmitted his voice. "Agree, use the elixirs I'll give you to make a bet." Win or lose, it's all on me. If you lose, then I'll give you another batch of the same elixirs. Reigns gave a slight smile, provoking Johann. Johann, I'll make a bet with you. I'll use 10,000 Blue Mirage, 10,000 Mermaid Tears and 10,000 Dragon Blood to make a bet with you. My dear elder brother, can you come up with that much money? Of course, as your younger brother, I can make some small concessions. You can use magic stones, gold coins, iron or veins, food, rare magic metals and warlock knowledge as payment. Johann's pupils constricted slightly, the smile on his face also faded slightly, his eyebrows creased. He pondered for a moment and then said with a light smile, My dear younger brother, it seems like you've cultivated a group of pharmacists with good abilities. All right, I'll make a bet with you. If the payment isn't limited to magic stones, then I can still come up with that bit of money. Johann, as one of the successors to the Black Dragon Empire's imperial throne, not only did he possess great wealth, his mother's clan also possessed great influence. Furthermore, there was also a large group of warlock clans within Black Dragon Empire that attached themselves to him. That huge sum, if the means of payment weren't limited, then he could still come up with it. Angelica smiled flirtatiously and said, Interesting, let me join too. Rake, I bet on Anusha. If she wins, you will help me give birth to 10 children. Until I give birth to 10 children, you are my property. If you win, I'll help you give birth to 10 children. How about that? Yang Feng shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile, Sorry, this bet is too insincere. I can't accept it. Carol said coldly, Angelica, I'll bet with you. I'm betting on Rex. If I lose, I'll give you my level 1 to level 3 spell models. If I win, you'll have to give me all the spell models you've mastered. Spell models were very valuable. Currently, Warlock College Intalia's highest-ranked spell model was also a level 1 spell model. Even a level 1 spell model would cost 8,000 magic stones. There wasn't even a single tier 2 spell model. Eunice had more than 10 level 2 spell models in her hands, and not a single level 3 spell model. That was because she still hadn't practiced cultivation until the realm of a level 2 warlock. Her clan naturally wouldn't provide her with level 3 spell models. Reigns also only had level 2 spell models in his hands, and not a single level 3 spell model. A complete level 3 spell model in a warlock's large-scale auction could definitely be auctioned for more than 1 million magic stones. As a Blood Meridian warlock, Yang Feng would obtain an innate spell every time he promoted to a warlock's rank. For example, Black Dragon Scales was an innate spell that he automatically obtained. After he promoted to a level 3 warlock, he would also automatically obtain a level 3 innate spell. But if he relied solely on an innate spell, then his means of dealing with the enemy would be too weak, and he basically wouldn't be able to become the strongest expert of the same rank. The reason why warlocks could become the strongest experts of the same rank was because they had a lot of spells and a lot of means of dealing with the enemy. To deal with different enemies, one would have different trump cards. Carol and Angelica's bet on the level 1 to level 3 spell models that they had grasped was also a huge gamble. Angelica's eyes flashed with a touch of a peculiar murderous aura. She said with a sweet smile, Carol, since you're so confident in Rex, then I'll bet with you. The 5 people stood in the center of the banquet. A strange atmosphere pervaded the air. The surrounding people basically didn't dare to approach them. His Majesty Solomon has arrived. Along with a resonant voice, a tall and sturdy, handsome young man dressed in a complicated and gorgeous imperial gown, with a formidable aura, under the protection of 4 young guards, directly stepped into the main hall. The young man, who appeared to be only 23 or 24 years old, was extraordinarily handsome and brimming with dignity, was Black Dragon Empire's Emperor Solomon. The lifespan of Blood Meridian warlocks by far exceeded that of Orthodox warlocks. Moreover, Blood Meridian warlocks generally looked relatively young. Black Dragon's Blood Meridians were top-notch Blood Meridians. Therefore, even though Solomon was several hundred years old, he still looked to be only 23 or 24 years old. We've seen your Majesty. Everyone slightly bowed towards Solomon in salute. In Tyrandot subcontinent, the status of warlocks was extremely high. Even when facing the Emperor, they only needed to slightly bow in salute. Only those who believed in gods or powerful beings from other planes would kneel in salute, grovel in salute, and such other manners to express their humbleness. Solomon came over, his eyes as sharp as a blade, sized up Yang Feng and said in a deep voice, "Your Rex." Yang Feng slightly bowed in salute. "We've seen your majesty." Solomon suddenly said with a smile, "I've just arrived and heard about your wager. Very interesting. Let me be the witness of your wager. 5 days later, I'll open the royal gambling arena for you to wager. You should properly prepare for it. The wager will be a death match between 20 followers below level 3 warlock. How about it?" Yang Feng said with a smile, "No problem." Anusha also said with a sweet smile, "No problem." Level 3 warlocks were extremely important battle prowess and wealth for every force. Therefore, only level 2 warlock rank experts would be allowed to fight in a follower's wager. If it was a small principality like Fernandro Principality, if a level 2 warlock died, then the entire warlock clan sky would practically collapse. Black Dragon Empire was the stronghold of Blood Meridian warlocks. The number of level 2 warlocks far exceeded that of the other 6 great forces. Even if 40 level 2 warlocks died, it still wouldn't affect Black Dragon Empire's vitality. This was the foundation of Tyrannid Subcontinent's #1 empire. Chapter 95. After the banquet was over, a pretty young lady arrived before Yang Feng and said respectfully, "Rex Darren, my master Carol Darren invites you to come over." "Alright." Yang Feng pondered for a moment, then followed behind the young lady. In a luxurious and exquisite room, ambergris incense, a precious incense capable of promoting a warlock's spirit force, was lit. Carol was neatly sitting on a sofa, her pretty face was ice cold, her whole body exuding the aura of an ice queen. Carol said coldly, "Anusha and Johan have a lot of followers, they're very strong. I can lend you 20 level 2 warlock rank followers." Yang Feng asked curiously, "Can you lend each other followers in such a gamble?" Carol said coldly, "As long as we win, any means can be used." The 3 of them will definitely join hands and pick the 20 strongest level 2 warlocks. With 20 first-rate level 2 warlocks joining hands, they can even contend against level 3 warlocks and even kill them. Yang Feng said with a smile, "I'm very grateful for your good intentions. However, I have the confidence to defeat them." Carol stared at Yang Feng for a moment, then clapped her hands. 10 beautiful maids exuding the formidable fluctuations of power of level 1 warlocks immediately walked in. Each maid was holding a thick stack of books in their hands. Carol said coldly, "These are the experience notes for promoting level 1 warlocks to level 2 warlocks. I'll give them to you. What materials do you need for cultivation? Make a list and give it to me." The experience notes for promoting level 1 warlocks to level 2 warlocks, each one was incomparably precious. Black Cottage also had the experience notes for promoting level 1 warlocks to level 2 warlocks. That note was Black Cottage's Master Bonnie's most precious treasure. Apart from him, none of his students were qualified to read it. Yang Feng felt somewhat odd. Yang Feng asked curiously, Carol, could it be that you've fallen in love with me at first sight?" Although Carol's temperament was ice-cold, but she was indeed a rare iceberg beauty. Even among the beauties of Black Dragon Blood Meridian warlocks, she was still among the top. In tonight's banquet, there wasn't a single beauty that could compare to her in terms of appearance and temperament. Anusha and Angelica were also somewhat inferior to her. If such an iceberg beauty fell in love with Yang Feng at first sight, then it would greatly satisfy his little vanity. Carol thought for a moment, then seriously attacked Yang Feng. "I just don't hate him." Carol said seriously, "As the head of the Grimt clan, I enjoy the support of the clan's resources. At the same time, I also have to fulfill the duty given to me by my family and give birth to a pure-blooded descendant. This was a duty that every member of a Blood Meridian warlock family had to fulfill. You have a top-grade Black Dragon bloodline, and I don't find you annoying, so you have the right to be my man. You can marry into the Grimt family and become the father of my child. I'm still a virgin, so if you have mysophobia, there's no problem at all." Yang Feng shook his head slightly and said solemnly, I don't want to marry into the Grimt family. I want you to marry me and become my woman. Carol's eyebrows creased slightly as she said, unless you're able to promote to a great warlock, otherwise, there's absolutely no possibility. Yang Feng said firmly, then I'll promote to a great warlock. It's not that easy to promote to a great warlock. If promoting from an apprentice warlock to a warlock is to surpass the limits of humans, then it's to take a step in the direction of extraordinary life forms. To promote from a level 3 warlock to a great warlock is to take a step in the direction of gods, ancient fiends, formidable ancient beings, and other mighty beings. Great warlock rank experts are known as legend rank experts in many other planes. They're known as legends in many other planes. They're peerless experts who left their names in history. Our Black Dragon Pagoda has several thousand years of inheritance, but as far as I know, there are only 7 great warlock rank experts. Anusha and Angelica have already been stuck in the realm of pinnacle level 3 warlocks for 200 years. As far as I know, there are already more than 400 level 3 warlocks in Black Dragon Pagoda that have been stuck in this realm. Carol analyzed calmly. The warlock's path was getting more and more difficult. Promoting from an apprentice warlock to a warlock was a huge hurdle. And promoting from a level 3 warlock to a great warlock was even more incomparably difficult. It was like a natural moat. Even though Blood Meridian warlocks had greater advantages than Orthodox warlocks, but to promote to a great warlock rank expert was still extremely difficult. Yang Feng said with a slight smile, even if it's more difficult, I'll also become a great warlock. After all, my goal is to obtain eternal life. Carol sighed faintly. Eternal life. This is the ultimate goal that all of us warlocks pursue. Unfortunately, even if it was the 8 great warlock emperors, such astonishing and unparalleled figures, they still fell in the long river of time. The path to eternal life might not even exist. In the world of warlocks, each and every one of the 8 great warlock emperors were astonishing and unparalleled, formidable existences that suppressed countless planes. But the 8 great warlock emperors also fell in the long river of time. The warlock dynasties that they founded also collapsed one by one. The 8 great warlock emperors were publicly recognized as the most formidable existences in the world of warlocks. They were also the existences that walked the furthest on the warlock path. With their terrifying strength and endless knowledge, they still couldn't resist the erosion of time and fell in the long river of time. Now that the 8th warlock dynasty had collapsed, the glory of warlocks was no more. Wanting to obtain eternal life was nothing more than a pipe dream. Yang Feng gave a faint smile and didn't refute. Eternal life was only his ultimate goal. He also knew that this path wasn't that easy to tread. Yang Feng said, these experience notes are very important to me. I hope that I can pay magic stones or equivalent elixirs in exchange for them. At the same time, I also hope that I can use magic stones and equivalent elixirs in exchange for some level 2 spell models and level 3 spell models, as well as all kinds of knowledge that warlocks need to practice cultivation. Carol said, I can give them to you. Yang Feng said earnestly, I hope to carry out the transaction through equivalent exchange. Because I don't want to take advantage of my good friend. Carol gave Yang Feng a somewhat strange look and said, Are you sure? I'm sure. Carol snapped her fingers. Mana. A sexy beauty dressed in maid attire, with long brown hair and the cultivation base of a level 1 warlock, stepped forward and said with a smile, These are experience notes for level 1 warlocks promoting to level 2 warlocks. The auction price is 200,000 magic stones per copy. There are 100 copies here. The price is 20 million magic stones. A level 2 spell model, 800,000 magic stones. A level 3 spell model, 4 million magic stones. Yang Feng coughed lightly and said somewhat embarrassedly, Cough, can I buy on credit? I'll pay after the wager. I really don't have that many magic stones now. The corners of Carol's mouth rose slightly, revealing a trace of a charming smile. Chapter 96. Black Dragon Empire's Imperial Palace. Within a study, Solomon was sitting upright on a golden chair, holding a book in his hand, casually flipping through it. Suddenly, Solomon said lightly, Jim, have you investigated Rex's identity? In a corner, the space slightly distorted, a middle-aged man dressed in black tight-fitting clothes, with a somewhat ugly appearance and a gloomy temperament, exuding the terrifying life force of a pinnacle level 3 warlock rank, appeared unhurriedly, before saying respectfully towards Solomon, "Your Majesty, the investigation has been carried out. Rex is a freedman of Black Dragon Empire's Moke City. After obtaining the inheritance of a rogue warlock by a fluke, he settled down in the obscure mountain range. After coming out of the obscure mountain range, he promoted to a level 1 warlock, possessing the Black Dragon's blood meridians." Solomon said indifferently, "Is the information reliable?" Jim said, "Reliable. You may withdraw." "Yes, Your Majesty." Jim's body immediately disintegrated into countless black mists, before disappearing from within the study. Time elapsed, 5 days passed in a blink. Black Dragon Empire's Royal Grand Arena was a huge arena that could accommodate 100,000 people. The huge Royal Grand Arena was usually used to carry out real-life and death betting matches. Ferocious beasts captured from all over, as well as some extraordinary life forms comparable to official warlocks, would be thrown into the Royal Grand Arena to fight with humans. The aristocrats of Black Dragon Empire would watch the bloody fights, while carrying out the betting matches. Every year, the huge Royal Colosseum brought the Black Dragon Empire a huge income. This is Black Dragon Empire's Royal Grand Arena, so imposing. As soon as Yang Feng entered Black Dragon Empire's Royal Grand Arena, he was fiercely shocked by the majestic arena. At this moment, the incomparably majestic arena was already filled with aristocrats belonging to Black Dragon Empire from all over the world. Black Dragon Empire's geographical area was 3 times that of Earth's China. It had gone through several millennia of inheritance. The number of aristocrats in Black Dragon Empire was astonishingly huge. The streets of the imperial capital were filled with aristocrats. A brick could be thrown and one could hit several aristocrats. At one end of the incomparably majestic Black Dragon Empire's Royal Grand Arena, there was a suspended dais built. On the suspended dais sat the ministers of Black Dragon Empire's major departments as well as aristocrats with Black Dragon's blood meridians. As an aristocratic warlock with Black Dragon blood meridian, Yang Feng followed the aristocratic warlocks with Black Dragon blood meridian to sit on the most distinguished dais, overlooking the many aristocrats below. Below Yang Feng and the other aristocratic warlocks with Black Dragon's blood meridians, there were aristocratic warlocks with Black Dragon Serpent's blood meridians, Black Dragon Lizard's blood meridians, and other affiliated Black Dragon's blood meridians. Led by a maid, Yang Feng arrived at the suspended dais. At a glance, he saw Carol, Anusha, and Angelica sitting among the 36 seats, second only to the Emperor. In the Black Dragon Empire, apart from the Black Dragon Tower's Tower Master Anthony's bloodline, there were also 36 powerful Black Dragon bloodline clans. Among the 36 Black Dragon blood meridian families, experts were as common as clouds and experts were as common as rain. Among them, level 3 warlocks weren't a small number, and there were even 3 Black Dragon blood meridian families that had once given birth to great warlock rank experts. They were the pillars of the Black Dragon Empire. Below the 36 seats were the seats belonging to the Black Dragon Empire's Grand Princes, Ministers, and Princes. Black Dragon Empire and Warlock College Xianxia were different. The ministers of Black Dragon Empire's various departments were all official warlocks. Warlocks firmly controlled everything in the secular world. The entire Black Dragon Empire was under the control of warlocks. Warlock College Xianxia's secular world was mostly managed by mortals. Warlocks were aloof, they carried out all kinds of research, sought the truth, and pursued the warlock path. Yang Feng's seat was a notch lower, it belonged to the bottommost part of the suspended dais. After Rain saw Yang Feng, he promptly greeted, "Rex, come sit next to me." An imperial princess originally sitting next to Rain's immediately got up, threw Yang Feng a coquettish glance, then went down and sat in Yang Feng's seat. Yang Feng also calmly sat next to Rain's. As soon as Yang Feng sat down, he felt a malicious gaze. He turned around and saw that Johann was looking in his direction. On the suspended dais filled with dignitaries and ministers, Johann didn't do anything unwise, he only slightly revealed a gentlemanly smile towards Yang Feng. Yang Feng also responded with a hypocritical smile. His Majesty Solomon has arrived. Under the protection of 6 experts emitting fluctuations of level 3 warlock rank life force, Solomon slowly stepped onto the suspended dais. Greetings, Your Majesty. Everyone in the Royal Grand Arena stood up and slightly bowed towards Solomon in salute. Solomon gave a slight smile, then went to the golden throne at the top of the suspended dais and sat down, saying lightly, "Sit down." Solomon did not speak very loudly, but his voice seemed to ring in everyone's ears. Everyone in the Royal Grand Arena then sat down. Solomon said lightly, "Begin the notarization." Carol waved her hand, and a maid came forward with a stack of documents that had been prepared long ago. Everyone involved in the bet sent people to take out the prepared documents and all kinds of treasures to publicly carry out the notarization. In fact, those documents and treasures had already been notarized beforehand. This time was only a formality in front of Solomon. After quickly carrying out the notarization, the notaries quickly retreated. Solomon said lightly, "Begin." In the Black Dragon Royal Grand Arena, 2 doors opened on both sides. 2 follower squads of 20 people respectively belonging to Xianxia and Yang Feng came out from the 2 doors one by one. A presenter walked to the center of the Black Dragon Royal Grand Arena and said in high spirits, "Today, the 2 squads standing here are respectively the followers of Duke Xianxia and Earl Rex. They will carry out a life and death duel on the Dragon Battle Isle. This is a huge wager with a value of more than 100 million magic stones. This wager is definitely the most brilliant wager in the last 10 years. Here, we, the Royal Grand Arena, have also opened a betting area for this exciting battle. The odds for Duke Xianxia's team to win are 1-1. 1. The odds for Earl Rex's team to win are 1-1. 3. The odds for Earl Rex's team to be completely annihilated and all members of Duke Xianxia's team to survive are 1-4. The odds for Earl Rex's team to be completely annihilated and all members of Duke Xianxia's team to survive are 1-3. The odds for Earl Rex's team to be completely annihilated and all members of Duke Xianxia's team to survive are 1-2. The odds for Duke Xianxia's team to be completely annihilated and all members of Earl Rex's team to survive are 1-20. The odds for Duke Xianxia's team to be completely annihilated and all members of Earl Rex's team to survive are 110. The odds for Duke Xianxia's team to be completely annihilated and all members of Earl Rex's team to survive are 1-4. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, pick up the betting devices in your hands and start placing your bets. Let us enjoy a crazy, wonderful, a rare joy of a wager fight. Chapter 97. The atmosphere of the entire Black Dragon Royal Grand Arena was stirred up by the presenter's words. Waves of spiritual energy and scrupulously scanned the 2 teams of followers below. Among the 100,000 aristocrats in the Black Dragon Grand Arena, nearly 10,000 of them possessed the cultivation base of an official warlock. This was the foundation of Tyrannid Subcontinent's #1 empire, the Black Dragon Empire. The presenter casually cast a spell, rays of light flickered in the center of the Royal Grand Arena and directly condensed into a light screen. The light screen displayed the amount of bets placed on the various bets. Among them, the bets for Xianxia's team's victory were the highest, surpassing 60 million magic stones. Next was the total annihilation of Rex's team. The amount of bets followed closely behind. The bets for Rex's team's victory were few and far between. It was obvious that no one was optimistic about Rex's team. Xianxia was one of the Black Dragon Empire's 36 great Black Dragon Blood Meridian family's patriarchs. She was a powerful existence of a pinnacle level 3 warlock. Coupled with her family's incomparably huge influence, she could casually pick out countless experts from within her family. Black Dragon Empire's aristocrats weren't fools. They naturally wouldn't waste magic stones to bet on a newcomer like Rex. Yang Feng looked at the huge odds and was somewhat envious. What a pity, if I had enough magic stones, then I would be able to make a good profit. After the increase in the bets became very slow, only then did the venue's presenter said with a slight smile, "All right, The bets are now over. This life and death gambling battle that is rarely seen in 10 years officially begins. Finished speaking, the presenter silently recited an incantation and casually pointed. A magnificent light flickered in the center of the Royal Grand Arena, shrouding the 40 followers in the venue. A huge door appeared in the center of the Royal Grand Arena. The huge door opened and turned into a huge black hole, directly swallowing the 40 followers. A huge light screen suddenly formed in the center of the Royal Grand Arena, and the entire picture of an island was displayed on the huge light screen. Put this on. I'm sure there'll be a pleasant surprise. Reigns gave Yang Feng a mysterious smile and handed him a pair of crystal glasses. Yang Feng put on the pair of crystal glasses and looked at the huge screen. He saw that the huge light screen was very strangely divided into 41 screens. The centermost screen displayed the panoramic view of the Dragon Battle Island. The other 40 screens showed the locations of the 40 soldiers. Yang Feng's mind moved, the screen continuously changed, before quickly changing to the screen of the warrior he wanted to chase and zooming in before his eyes. High-tech. Truly high-end. Yang Feng's heart shook, and he gained a deeper understanding of the warlock civilization. In Tyrannid subcontinent, many places were as poor and backward as medieval Europe. However, the worlds where the warlocks at the top of the world resided were extremely prosperous. They weren't the slightest bit inferior to modern Earth, and in some areas, they even surpassed Earth's level by far. Dragon Battle Island was a long and narrow island with a circumference of about 300 kilometers. It was almost the size of a viscount's territory. The Dragon Battle Island was densely forested and the terrain was complex. It was the best place for actual combat. Every year on the Dragon Battle Island, there would be more than a dozen extremely bloody fights between warlocks and followers. Those fights were also the most exciting and the most splendid matches. Once Anusha's group appeared on the Dragon Battle Island, a warlock silently recited an incantation. The magic staff in his hand suddenly blossomed with green radiance and enveloped his teammates. Under the illumination of the green magic radiance, the entire group of followers directly changed into grotesque trees. From the big screen, it seemed as if the members of Anusha's group had disappeared into the jungle. Only by adjusting the special glasses into a special field of view could one see the true faces of the members of Anusha's group. From time to time, those grotesque trees blossomed with magical radiances, casting one spell after another on themselves. The presenter said with extreme passion, "That's the level 1 spell plant illusion. Divination disruption. Spirit scan shielding. Brute force. Light spirit. Detection spell disruption. Heavens, a total of 21 spells. So outstanding. This is Anusha's group. A perfect pre-battle spell blessing. Let us cheer for the perfect performance of the followers of Anusha's group. Kill him. Tear the trashes of Rex's group to shreds. I bet on you to win. Exterminate them for me." Above the Black Dragon Empire's Royal Grand Arena, countless aristocrats issued crazy roars. The sound waves formed by those terrifying roars seemed as if they wanted to overturn the Royal Grand Arena. Practically 95% of the Black Dragon Empire's aristocrats supported Anusha because they had placed heavy bets on Anusha's group. After Anusha's group finished releasing the blessing spell, the figure of a tall and sturdy man with an ugly appearance suddenly distorted, transforming into a level 2 extraordinary life form steel-feathered demonic eagle. It flapped its wings and soared into the sky, flying high into the sky. The presenter said somewhat exaggeratedly, "That's the level 2 spell extraordinary life form morphing. He's a druid. Heavens, this warrior of Anusha's group is a rare druid. This is a very rare cultivation method, although it can't compare to us warlocks, but it has its own unique insight in the aspect of extraordinary life form morphing." 500 years ago, after the last druid sect was exterminated by Savage Claw, traces of druids have rarely been seen in our continent. Duchess Anusha was actually able to recruit a druid to work for her. Let us cheer for her charisma. Duchess Xianxia. Duchess Xianxia, you're the best, go to hell Rex. Bursts of cheers once again erupted in the Royal Grand Arena. Anusha was a top beauty, moreover, she was a powerful existence of a pinnacle level 3 warlock, one of the Black Dragon Empire's 36 great families' patriarchs. Her popularity wasn't something that a nobody like Yang Feng could compare to. In Tyrannid subcontinent, there were also a few inheritances of wizards, arcanists, druids, priests and so on. However, in this world dominated by warlocks, once the inheritances of those different planes appeared, without anyone's protection, they could only be annihilated, and then all the knowledge would be plundered by the warlocks and integrated into their own system. Druids, wizards, arcanists, these existences basically didn't dare to carelessly expose their whereabouts. Once exposed, then they would be directly captured by warlocks, plundered of everything and then carried out human experiments. For Anusha to be able to recruit a druid to work for her was already very remarkable. Chapter 98. On the other side, as soon as Yang Feng's group's followers entered the Dragon Battle Isle, the 10 level 2 warlock rank reinforcements cast one spell after another, directly blessing all the members of the group. The other 10 were Great Knights with control chips implanted in them by Yang Feng. The 10 Great Knights were purchased by Eunice through the slave market. In Tyrannid subcontinent, apart from the relative stability of the 6 great warlock groups, the rest of the areas were similarly in constant disputes. The old and new warlock groups were also fighting ceaselessly for their own benefits. The 10 Great Knights were the slaves from the defeated forces. The 10 Great Knights pressed the dimensional crests they wore on their chests. Tanks, self-propelled artillery and anti-aircraft artillery continuously flew out from the dimensional crests and landed on the ground. The Grand Arena's presenter used exaggerated body language to express his astonishment. Magic artillery? Magic chariots? The warriors of Rex's group gave us a huge surprise. They took out a lot of war weapons that I've never seen before. This made my explanation a lot more difficult. However, I think that we'll soon be able to see the use of these war weapons. What are those? What are those things? New alchemical products? On the suspended dais, the eyes of the Black Dragon Empire's top bigwigs also revealed traces of curiosity. They had only seen magic artillery. As for tanks, self-propelled artillery, anti-aircraft artillery and other war weapons, they had never seen them before. Anusha saw the tanks, self-propelled artillery and anti-aircraft artillery. A trace of an ominous premonition welled up within her. Angelica's eyebrows also creased slightly. This had already somewhat exceeded her calculations. This made her somewhat uneasy. Johann also creased his eyebrows tightly, his hands were intertwined, his gaze shifted and fell on Yang Feng. Carol was somewhat curious as she looked at those modern war weapons. Interesting. The corners of Solomon's mouth rose slightly, revealing a trace of a smile in the depths of his eyes. Solomon was the emperor of the Black Dragon Empire. He held great power. In Tyrannid subcontinent, apart from the domain of great warlocks, there was practically nothing that he hadn't seen. The tanks, self-propelled artillery, anti-aircraft artillery and other Earth's war weapons, in his eyes, were nothing more than some rather interesting gadgets. As soon as the weapons flew out of the dimensional badges of the 10 Grand Knights, they automatically moved and formed one formation after another. Anusha's group's great druid turned into an steel-feathered demonic eagle and flew into the sky, relying on the steel-feathered demonic eagle's super long-range vision as well as the steel-feathered demonic eagle's extraordinary innate ability to see through a variety of concealment and illusions. He searched around and very quickly locked onto the location of Yang Feng's group's members. Shortly after, the druid transformed into an steel-feathered demonic eagle faced upwards and issued a sharp and long cry. It flapped its wings and pitch-black feathers shrouded by wind force formed an arrowhead, pointing straight at Yang Feng's group. For an army of 40 mortals, it might take them a day or two to find the enemy. But for warlocks with strange means, it was very easy to find the enemy. They just needed to learn the corresponding spell to find the enemy. The great druid transformed into an steel-feathered demonic eagle. Even among level 2 warlocks, his ability to locate enemies was still a first-class existence. Fire! At this time, a great knight, who was cast with a super long-range spell, discovered the steel-feathered demonic eagle and ordered coldly. Within the anti-aircraft formation, the anti-aircraft cannons rumbled, countless flares rose and formed a rain of light, directly bombarding the steel-feathered demonic eagle in the sky. Not knowing what spell was attached to the crystal glasses, Yang Feng could clearly hear the rumbling sounds of the cannons, as if he was there. Under the bombardment of the countless cannons, the druid transformed into an steel-feathered demonic eagle, flapped its wings and directly rose into the sky. Its speed also soared to the extreme, shuttling back and forth amidst the rain of light. The speed of the steel-feathered demonic eagle was extremely fast. Only 2 rounds of the anti-air cannons landed on its body, which then brushed past its feathers that were harder than steel and contained a powerful life force field. Thus, they were unable to harm its body. Yang Feng felt a slight shiver within. Amazing! Truly worthy of being called an extraordinary life form. Truly too abnormal. The caliber of the anti-aircraft cannons was 37 millimeters. Such an anti-aircraft cannons could easily pierce through the thick steel plates of an assault helicopter. If a human was bombarded by an anti-aircraft cannons, then they would definitely be torn apart. If an elephant was directly hit by such an anti-aircraft cannons, then it would definitely be killed. The steel-feathered demonic eagle could easily block the anti-aircraft cannons. Its defensive power completely exceeded the strength of any known life form on Earth. However, the barrage formed by the cannons clearly had the ability to threaten the steel-feathered demonic eagle's life. The druid transformed into an steel-feathered demonic eagle only flew far away in the sky, not daring to approach the anti-aircraft formation. At this time, within the anti-aircraft formation, the missile launchers flickered with flares. Surface-to-air laser-guided missiles were directly fired, madly bombarding the steel-feathered demonic eagle in the sky. The druid transformed into an steel-feathered demonic eagle felt that things were far from good. It continuously spun in the sky, flew and made all kinds of outrageous movements, attempting to shake off the surface-to-air laser-guided missiles. But no matter how it flew, it was unable to shake off the lock-on of the surface-to-air laser-guided missiles. Boom, 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 boom. The surface-to-air laser-guided missiles bombarded the body of the steel-feathered devil eagle, exploding crazily. The steel-feathered demonic eagle's feathers scattered and blood splashed everywhere. The great druid in the form of an steel-winged demonic eagle forcibly blocked the bombardment of more than a dozen surface-to-air laser-guided missiles. In the end, its strength was exhausted, and it was directly blown into pieces by the missiles, turning into countless fragments that fell from the sky. So amazing! It can even get rid of the steel-feathered demonic eagle? So amazing! That's an extraordinary life form comparable to a level 2 warlock. The steel-feathered demonic eagle is a bird-type extraordinary life form. Its innate skill is steel feathers. The defensive strength of its feathers is even more tyrannical than that of steel. Moreover, as long as it wholeheartedly wants to escape while flying in the sky, then there aren't many level 2 warlocks that can kill it. The weapons of Rex's group are really too formidable. In the Royal Grand Colosseum, all the nobles were shocked by this scene, and they were all discussing it. Although the extraordinary life form steel-feathered demonic eagle wasn't a match for a level 2 warlock, but it was still one of the most difficult level 2 extraordinary life forms to kill. Even some level 3 warlocks didn't have any good means to kill such an extraordinary life form flying in the sky and possessing formidable resistance. Such an extraordinary life form was actually forcibly shot down by Rex's group. Those aristocrats of Black Dragon Empire didn't dare to believe it. Chapter 99. Solomon revealed a trace of a smile of interest. Interesting. Level 2 extraordinary life forms like the steel-feathered demonic eagle, in front of Solomon, who possessed the terrifying power of a pinnacle level 3 warlock. It was only a pet-like existence. However, he was still somewhat surprised that the surface-to-air laser-guided missile could easily get rid of the steel-feathered demonic eagle. After all, level 2 extraordinary life forms were already considered to be very formidable existences. Apart from some alchemy products of peak warlock alchemists, ordinary weapons of war were basically unable to pose a threat to level 2 extraordinary life forms. It's just a fluke. As long as our people get close to them, then those weapons of war are all trash. Anusha's eyebrows creased at once, traces of an unknown premonition welled up within her, and she continuously comforted herself inside. Those tanks, self-propelled artillery and other weapons of war would be reduced to scrap metal once warlocks got close to them. It was precisely because warlocks were so formidable that in this world of warlocks, weapons of war would seem to be somewhat in decline. Extremely strange eyeballs rose from above Yang Feng's group, peeping in all directions. Those extremely strange eyeballs were the level 1 spell mage's eyes. Through the mage's eyes, warlocks could clearly see the situation within a radius of more than a dozen li. The mage's eyes had an extremely long range, but it didn't have the ability to see through illusions. The experts in Anusha's group, under the effect of the plant transmogrification spell, quickly moved towards Yang Feng's group. Under the circumstances where the experts in Anusha's group weren't paying attention, the 2-meter-tall bear-like man who was walking at the forefront kicked an infrared ray. The self-propelled artillery, 155mm caliber heavy howitzers and multiple rocket launchers instantly adjusted their muzzles. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying shellfire in a split second completely engulfed the members of Anusha's group. The terrifying explosions plowed their location over and over again. Under the bombardment of the shellfire, the members of Anusha's group basically didn't have the space to dodge. They could only desperately cast spells to resist the bombardment of the shellfire. An enormous earth wall rose from the ground, and then directly crumbled under the bombardment of the shellfire. Protective force fields suddenly appeared, and then were smashed to pieces by the shockwaves from the explosions of the artillery shells. Huge, extraordinary tree iron rattan trees suddenly rose from the ground. Countless rattans interweaved to form an iron rattan wall, blocking above Anusha's squad members. Not long after the iron rattan wall was formed, a dozen rockets bombarded the iron rattan tree and exploded, blasting it into pieces. Charge with me! Charge over and tear them to shreds! The bear-like man roared furiously, his eyes shot with blood, his body swelled up by a size. With a huge secret treasure shield in hand, he roared wildly like a savage and stimulated the power of the secret treasure shield. A formidable defensive force field erupted from his body and forcibly blocked one artillery shell after another. At the same time, he rushed towards Yang Feng's team. Anusha's group's experts followed behind that bear-like man and galloped towards Yang Feng's group's location. Simultaneously, protective magic force fields continuously blessed that bear-like level 2 warlock. The bear-like level 2 warlock was only able to advance less than 200 meters amidst the earth-shattering shellfire before his protective force field completely collapsed. He was also directly hit by a cannonball and exploded into pieces. Once the level 2 warlock with the strongest defensive power was killed, the complexions of the experts in Anusha's group immediately changed greatly. 6 experts madly rushed towards Yang Feng's group's location, while the remaining 12 experts from Anusha's group cast spells and fled towards the rear. Boom, boom, boom. Self-propelled artilleries, heavy howitzers and rocket launchers formed a net of artillery fire that poured countless shellfire, plowing the area where the 6 level 2 warlocks were located inside and outside. The 6 level 2 warlocks who rushed forward barely lasted for less than 30 seconds before they were torn to shreds by the concentrated shellfire. The 12 powerhouses of Anusha's squad, who saw the opportunity early, escaped from the shell-covered position by relying on strange spells. After the 12 experts from Anusha's group escaped from the infrared sensor's range of detection, the practically earth-shattering shellfire at once completely stopped. Without sensing the target, randomly firing would only be a waste of shellfire. Amazing! Really amazing! These weapons of war are really terrifying. Too fierce. Really too fierce. All the aristocrats in the Black Dragon Empire's Royal Grand Arena inhaled a mouthful of cold air, their eyes brimming with shock. Many aristocrats' eyes brimmed with excitement. Black Dragon Empire had been peaceful for more than a millennium. Such a world-shaking battle was very rare. However, the majority of Blood Meridian warlocks had fierce and combative blood flowing within them. Even female warlocks were far more combative than ordinary people. Therefore, not only were these aristocrats not frightened by the battle, but they instead felt it to be very interesting and extremely excited. Even many female aristocrats were no exception. When Anusha, Johann and Angelica saw this scene, their complexions at once became extremely unsightly. Rains heaved a long sigh of relief, his face revealing a trace of a smile. The corners of Carol's mouth rose slightly, a trace of a smile flashing past the depths of her beautiful eyes. On the Dragon Battle Isle, after the 12 experts from Anusha's group escaped from the Shellfire's range, like birds startled by the mere twang of a bow, they hid here and there for a good while. After discovering that the earth-shattering Shellfire didn't descend again, they heaved a slight sigh of relief, before converging in a secluded grove. A tall, handsome and seemingly very capable man said with a gloomy face, "It seems like we have to use our final method. Vino, it's up to you." A slim middle-aged man silently nodded, silently recited an incantation. With a flip of his hand, a palm-sized silver-white door at once blossomed with silvery light, rising in the wind and turning into a silver-white door up to 20 m tall and 6 m wide. There were 108 grooves on the silver-white door. The middle-aged man somewhat painfully fished out 36 superior magic stones as well as 72 intermediate magic stones and at once embedded them into the 108 grooves. Simultaneously, he silently recited an incantation and pointed at the silver-white door. A silvery magic radiance shot out from the middle-aged man's hand and fell on the silver-white door. The silver-white door immediately blossomed with incomparably resplendent silvery radiance. The space inside the door also distorted, setting off waves of ripples. Welcome to Legends of Cultivation, audiobooks, where we bring ancient fantasy to life through storytelling. Follow the rise of heroes who defy fate, unlock mystical powers, and battle across celestial realms. Our audiobooks are crafted for fans of Chinese cultivation novels, filled with battles, breakthroughs, and legendary artifacts. Subscribe and be part of an unforgettable journey into the realm of immortality.